The morning started like any other, but then, boom, helicopter blades tore the sky open, rattling windows and every single nerve in my body. You ever see a neighborhood go from zero to full circus in 30 seconds? Because that's exactly what happened. Folks came spilling out of their front doors, mugs in hand, pajama pants flapping, phones already rolling, hungry for whatever drama was about to unfold. But nobody, absolutely nobody, was ready for what came next. First, that shriek. High, wild, full of panic. Karen, in her silk bathrobe and bedhead, screeching like the world owed her an apology. All eyes snapped to her Lexus, the SUV she polished more than most people clean their kitchens, dangling in midair, wrapped in thick, rattling chains, rising slow and steady above my driveway. Sunlight sparkled across the windshield, so bright it hurt. The crowd gasped, some cheered. A few teens gave commentary like they were streaming a pay-per-view fight. And I just stood there with my coffee, soaking it all in. Now, let me back up a sec. Folks always ask me what it's like living under an HOA. I tell them, imagine the circus came to town but forgot to bring clowns. Because here, the neighbors are the clowns, and the ringmaster? None other than Karen, the self-declared HOA president, savior of suburban order, and, let's be honest, a part-time dictator with a clipboard. I'd been in Maplerist for over 15 years. Bought my house when this place was still all BBQs, kids with scuffed knees, and people who knew how to mind their own business. But when Karen arrived, the air got heavier. She stomped around like she owned the block, barking at kids to stay off her grass, measuring hedges like she was the world's saddest Olympic judge, and dishing out violation notices the way other people hand out Halloween candy. And, yeah, we'd tangled before. She hated my rose bushes, said they were wild and violated community aesthetics. Untamed, as if they were lions, not flowers. When I told her my roses were older than the HOA charter, she smirked and snapped. Rules are rules. Only, somehow, those rules never seemed to apply to her. So, when I woke up and found Karen's white Lexus parked sideways across my garage, completely blocking both doors, not a toe on the street, I almost laughed. Maybe it was a mistake, I thought, until I saw the note under my wiper. Perhaps this will remind you. No one's above HOA compliance. Trim the roses, or next time I'll have your car booted. Signed, as always, by the Queen herself. I swear, I almost spit my coffee out right there. She'd weaponized her car, parked it across my driveway to punish me for not cutting back some flowers. And by mid-morning, the whole cul-de-sac was out there, pretending to walk dogs or get the mail, but really, everyone was just waiting for the fireworks. Two teens leaned on their bikes, whispering, "He's not gonna let that slide." The tension? You could slice it with a garden spade. I stepped outside, cool as a monk, coffee still in hand. "Karen," I called out, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Would you mind moving your tank off my driveway?" Her door burst open, designer shades on, hair helmet stiff, clipboard in hand, like a judge headed for sentencing. "Excuse me," she barked. "This is a lawful immobilization of property. You've refused to comply with HOA standards. Your access is revoked." I blinked. Revoked? This was my house, my driveway. She just smirked. "You signed the covenant. The HOA enforces compliance." The crowd could barely hold back their laughter, but Karen was dead serious. I set my coffee on her Lexus, real gentle. Her gasp, man, it could have shattered glass. "Move it," I said, "or I'll have it towed." But she grinned, real villain-like, and purred, "Go ahead. I already called the towing company. They won't touch my car." Then she spun on her heel and strutted inside, leaving her car like a thrown smack in the middle of my life. All day, her Lexus became a kind of suburban monument. Neighbors came by just to stare. Kids did loops on their bikes, giggling. Some old guy even set up a lawn chair across the street with lemonade, giving play-by-play to anyone who'd listen. Karen? She played it up, waving from her porch, soaking up every second. "That's what happens when you don't follow the rules," she'd announce, as if she were running a parade, not a hostage situation. Day after day, she doubled down, using her Lexus as the neighborhood's newest attraction. She'd lecture people about recycling bins and paint colors, all while her car blocked my driveway, shining in the sun like a $70,000 roadblock. So, I did what any reasonable person would. I started plotting. Because it wasn't about roses. It was about power. Karen needed to show everyone she couldn't be messed with. She wanted to break me. But I don't break. And if you push me, well, I don't just push back, I build. See, what Karen didn't know was that I've got friends in odd places. Heavy machinery, logistics, contractors, the kind of people who make problems disappear, sometimes with a forklift, sometimes with a crane. I let her play queen for a few more days. Let the neighborhood talk, let the tension bubble up. Even Mr. Jenkins, oldest guy on the block, winked at me one day. You might be the one to bring her down, son. And that's when I called in a favor. Rodney Roeder Alvarez, old buddy of mine, runs a helicopter lifting service. Roeder, you still moving big stuff? I asked. Always. What you got? A car. Not just any car, a Lexus. He laughed, but when I explained the situation, illegal parking, evidence, witnesses, he just said, send me the address. I'll make it happen. But I wanted to be bulletproof, so I checked city codes, HOA rules, parking ordinances. Trespassing? Oh, absolutely. Even ran it by my lawyer buddy over beers. As long as you don't drop it on a freeway, you're golden, he said. And the cherry on top? I figured out exactly where to put Karen's Lexus, so everyone got the message. Her biggest enabler, the mayor, was hosting a brunch that weekend. His lawn. Perfect target. Poetic justice, don't you think? Saturday rolled around. I played dumb, acted tired, beat down. Karen gloated from across the street, sipping some radioactive green smoothie, as if she'd already won. Meanwhile, Rodney's text came through. Bird warmed up. ETA 9 o'clock. I winked at Jenkins. The crowd gathered. Karen even held an HOA sermon right there on her lawn, going off about community standards, jabbing her pen toward me for effect. And then the sound. That deep thump-thump-thump over the trees. Heads turned. Coffee froze mid-sip. Karen squinted, annoyed, like the helicopter had personally insulted her. The chopper lowered right over her Lexus. Wind whipped the lawns. Papers flew. Hats took flight. Rodney's team rappelled down, wrapped those industrial chains around the SUV, quick, professional, totally unfazed by Karen's banshee act. The neighbors? They lost it. Phones everywhere, people shouting, "It's happening." Karen screamed, "Stop. That's my car. I'm the HOA president." But the chopper didn't care. Up, up, up her Lexus went, 10 feet, then 20, swaying in the sun. The crowd erupted. Jenkins hooped like he was at a ball game. Kids screamed. Adults laughed. Karen fell to her knees. Desperate, humiliated, powerless. But this wasn't just for show. The chopper banked and headed downtown, straight for the mayor's mansion. By the time it crossed Main Street, half the city was out filming, honking, shouting. The mayor, hosting brunch for the town's elite, saw the shadow fall. Then chaos. String quartet scattering, champagne flying, and then, thud. Karen's Lexus dropped right in the middle of the lawn, crushing a patch of grass worth more than my entire backyard. The place went nuts. Phones everywhere, people screaming, memes popping up online within minutes. Karen called the mayor in tears, but he tore into her, finally seeing what a monster he'd created. That night, the news rolled up. Reporters called it suburban warfare. Twitter trended with Mayor's Lawn Lexus. And Karen? She got thrown under the bus by everyone who'd ever supported her. By Monday, the HOA board met. Karen stormed in, hair shellacked, pride patched together, shrieking about terrorism and restoring order. But this time, nobody backed her up. The board voted her out right then and there, left her clutching her clipboard, trembling. The mayor pressed charges: trespass, public nuisance, property damage. She got fined, dragged through the mud, and just like that, her reign was over. Me? I trimmed my roses when I felt like it. Neighbors waved as they passed. Kids chanted Mayor's Lawn Lexus, like it was the chorus to a new song. Karen sold the Lexus. Couldn't stand the sight of it, I guess. Sold her house, too, by year's end. When the moving truck left, we stood outside, waving, not sad, just relieved. And you know what? The best revenge isn't always silent. Sometimes, it's loud enough to shake every window on the block, loud enough to fly. If there's one thing I learned, it's that bullies survive on silence. But power built on fear? It's fragile, one big spotlight, and it shatters. You don't need a helicopter, but you do need guts, creativity, and a few good friends. So, tell me, What's the wildest HOA or neighborhood story you've seen? Drop it in the comments. And if you like this one, hit subscribe, because trust me, the HOA circus never really leaves town.